Welcome to the History Hunt YouTube channel. Like, subscribe. Let's start today's video. This black and white image shows a formation of British Avro Lancaster bombers flying through dramatic clouds. These iconic aircraft were heavily used by the RAF during World War II, particularly in the strategic bombing campaigns over Europe. This vintage-style image shows a squadron of B-25 Mitchell medium bombers flying in a V formation beneath the sun. These American aircraft were widely used during World War II for bombing, reconnaissance, and ground attack missions. This dramatic image shows toy soldiers and military vehicles set in a smoky battlefield scene, simulating World War II combat. The silhouettes and haze create a realistic atmosphere of wartime tension and action. The image displays a formation of World War II-era aircraft, primarily featuring several Avro Lancaster bombers flying through a cloudy sky. Below the Lancasters, a couple of smaller fighter-type planes, possibly Hawker Hurricanes or Supermarine Spitfires, are also visible. This scene likely depicts a historical aerial display or a representation of a wartime sortie. The image shows the silhouettes of three soldiers running across a landscape, likely during a battle or training exercise. Their dark forms are set against a dramatic, cloudy, or smoke-filled sky, suggesting a moment of intense action or peril. The overall mood is somber and intense, highlighting the harsh realities of war. The image depicts a formation of military aircraft flying over the ruins of a deserted city. The aircraft appear to be bombers, possibly from World War II, given the style and setting. The scene evokes a sense of desolation and destruction. The image shows two soldiers in combat gear, likely from the mid-20th century, running through what appears to be a distressed or war-torn urban environment. Both are armed with rifles and wear helmets, suggesting they are in an active combat zone. The vintage look of the photo implies a historical conflict like World War II or the Korean War. A somber image depicts a lone soldier in a World War II-era uniform, standing amidst a desolate, sandy landscape. The vast, cloudy sky, filled with dramatic, dark clouds, contributes to the overall sense of introspection and solitude. This black and white photograph captures what appears to be a group of soldiers, possibly German, due to the helmet style of the foreground figure, in a field during wartime. The soldier in the foreground is seen from behind, equipped with gear, observing others who are moving or engaged in activity further into the hazy background, suggesting a dynamic scene of combat or maneuver. This color photograph shows several soldiers in what appears to be World War II-era American uniforms, engaged in a tactical movement. One soldier is running forward with a rifle, while another kneels, taking aim, and a third is visible behind them, all suggesting an active combat or training scenario. In the background, a military jeep with additional personnel can be seen, adding to the sense of coordinated operation within an industrial or urban setting. This artwork vividly portrays soldiers navigating a smoke-filled, war-torn landscape, likely indicative of a World War II battle scene. The central figure, equipped with a helmet and a weapon, advances to the chaotic environment, while other soldiers are visible in the background, some appearing to be supporting casualties, all against a backdrop of explosions and dark plumes of smoke. This stark black and white photograph captures the devastating aftermath of a conflict, with a prominently featured ruined building standing as a testament to destruction. Adjacent to it, a historical-looking tower with a spire, possibly a church or a castle tower, also shows signs of damage or decay, all set against a dramatic sky with scattered clouds and birds. The scene strongly evokes the extensive bombing of cities like Dresden during World War II. This atmospheric image captures a dramatic beach landing scene, likely depicting a historical military operation, such as the Normandy landings during World War II. Silhouetted soldiers disembark from a landing craft onto a smoky, obstacle-laden shore, set against a dramatic sky with hints of sunset or sunrise, evoking the intensity of a significant wartime event. This sepia-toned image depicts a dramatic aerial combat or defense scenario, likely from the World War II era. In the foreground, an anti-aircraft gun is poised, while two propeller-driven aircraft soar through a cloudy sky, suggesting a moment of intense military action. This dramatic image portrays a lone soldier standing resolute in a devastated, war-torn landscape, marked by a tattered flag and barbed wire. The background is engulfed in fiery explosions and smoke, painting a bleak and impactful scene of conflict and solitude. This poignant, sepia-toned image depicts three soldiers in what appears to be World War II-era American military attire, superimposed against a flowing American flag. The composition suggests themes of patriotism, sacrifice, and remembrance, often associated with events like Veterans Day. This black and white photograph depicts a group of soldiers, possibly from World War II, walking through a wooded area. They are heavily equipped with backpacks and rifles, suggesting they are on a march or patrol. This black and white photograph captures what appears to be a group of soldiers, possibly German due to the helmet style of the foreground figure, in a field during wartime. The soldier in the foreground is seen from behind, equipped with gear, observing others who are moving or engaged in activity further into the hazy background, suggesting a dynamic scene of combat or maneuver. The black and white photograph shows a collection of World War II helmets. The helmet in the foreground features a white cross, suggesting it may belong to a combat medic. This photograph shows a line of soldiers in World War II-era uniforms, possibly American, in an urban setting. The soldier in the foreground has a serious expression, suggesting a moment of intense focus or concern. This black and white photograph features three Vought F-4U Corsair or Goodyear F-2G Corsair aircraft in flight. The planes, possibly F-4U 1P models, are distinguished by their inverted gull wings and star markings. The image shows a World War II-era helmet resting on a sandy beach, with the ocean waves visible in the background. The helmet's design and the beach setting might suggest a connection to events like D-Day. The black and white photograph captures a group of soldiers, possibly German infantry or Finnish long-range patrol, during World War II, walking through a wooded area. They are heavily equipped with backpacks and rifles, suggesting they are on a march or patrol. This black and white photograph captures a North American B-25 Mitchell bomber in flight. The aircraft is distinguished by its twin-engine design and the star insignia, likely indicating a U.S. military affiliation. This black and white photograph showcases an M3 Stuart light tank, a model typically associated with 1942 tanks. The tank is positioned on what appears to be a sandy or dirt terrain, possibly during a military exercise or in a combat zone. This black and white photograph features three World War II-era M1 helmets, two of which are perched atop rifles, resting on sandbags or similar material in the foreground. A blurred background of trees, and a tent suggests a military encampment or battlefield setting. This dramatic black and white photograph captures a scene of intense aerial activity and destruction, likely from World War II. Multiple propeller-driven aircraft are visible flying across the sky, while below them, massive plumes of dark smoke rise from the ground, suggesting widespread fires or heavy bombardment. This monochrome image features a close-up of a soldier, possibly from the German army of the 1935 to 1945 era, in what appears to be a wartime setting. The soldier is depicted in uniform, holding a rifle and wearing a helmet, with a focused or intense expression. This black and white photograph depicts a Japanese flag waving against a backdrop of a cloudy sky. The flag features a prominent black circle, possibly representing the sun, contrasting sharply with the lighter fabric and the textured clouds behind it. The image shows a formation of Avro Lancaster bombers against the blue sky, possibly during the Battle of Britain. The Lancaster, a British four-engine heavy bomber, is recognizable by its distinctive silhouette. A close-up shot features a Supermarine Spitfire aircraft, likely captured mid-flight, with its propeller visibly blurred from motion. The sharp focus on the plane against a softer background emphasizes the iconic design of this World War II fighter. A striking black and white photograph depicts multiple explosions, likely from World War II, erupting over a body of water, possibly hinting at an event such as the attack on Pearl Harbor. The dramatic plumes of smoke and debris fill the sky, conveying the intense impact of the explosions. This black and white image captures a soldier running across a rugged, possibly war-torn terrain. The blurred background and intense focus on the soldier suggest a dynamic moment of action during World War II. The sepia-toned image captures two propeller-driven aircraft, likely a Vought F-4U Corsair and possibly a Mitsubishi A6M0, in flight against a light sky with distant hills. The composition suggests an aerial maneuver or a historical reenactment. This image displays a large, olive drab bomb, possibly a 1,000-pound bomb or a World War II German bomb, lying horizontally on a concrete surface. It features a yellow band near the nose and a blue band on the body, with distinct fins at the tail. This black and white photograph depicts a group of soldiers, possibly from a 9th SS Hohenstaufen Division, walking across a field. The soldiers are wearing camouflage uniforms and carrying weapons, suggesting a scene from World War II or a reenactment. This black and white photograph captures a World War II airborne drop, showing paratroopers descending from 2 aircraft against a cloudy sky. The parachutes are clearly visible, suggesting an active military operation. This image displays a historic newspaper headline with a bold red title Invasion. The prominent text below reads, "Our troops land in North France," strongly suggesting coverage of the Normandy landings or D-Day during World War II. This black and white photograph depicts a line of soldiers in World War II-era uniforms, possibly German, standing in formation. A helmet rests on the ground, and the focus is on their hands holding rifles and the details of their uniforms. The sepia-toned image depicts a German 88mm anti-aircraft gun, possibly an 8.8 centimeters flak 18/36/37/41, being operated by soldiers in the field, likely during World War II. Smoke emanates from the gun, suggesting it has just been fired or is in the process of firing. This image features an elderly man, possibly a World War II veteran, wearing a cap that reads World War Veteran. He is saluting with an American flag visible in the blurred background. This image shows 2 older men, possibly veterans, smiling at the camera. Both are wearing caps adorned with military pins and patches, and one man wears a jacket with a Korean War veteran patch, suggesting their military service. This image shows a North American B-25 Mitchell, which is a type of airplane. This image features a soldier in a military uniform and helmet, standing in what appears to be a dusty or sandy environment with clouds in the background. The overall tone of the image suggests a scene of battlefield recovery or a military setting. This image might show a World War II battlefield silhouette featuring combat infantry soldiers in a war setting. The scene is silhouetted against a dramatic, cloudy sky with smoke and industrial structures in the background. This image displays a large naval vessel, possibly an Italian cruiser such as the Alberto di Giussano, Alberico de Barbiano, or Bartolomeo Colleoni, docked or moving in a harbor. The ship features multiple turrets and a prominent mast, with what appears to be an Italian flag flying from the stern. This black and white image shows a group of soldiers, likely from the German army during World War II, walking on a dirt path through a forested area. They are heavily equipped with backpacks and rifles, suggesting they are on a march or patrol. This image depicts a war-torn urban landscape engulfed in flames, with a tank amidst the rubble. The scene is devoid of people, emphasizing the devastation and destruction of conflict. This image shows a Soviet T-54/T-55 tank moving through a dusty or muddy field, with a crew member visible in the turret. There is smoke or dust billowing around the tank, suggesting movement or recent activity. This image shows several soldiers from behind, wearing olive green uniforms and helmets, each carrying a backpack and what appears to be a canteen or gas mask canister attached to their gear. Their equipment suggests they might be reenactors or participants in a historical military event, possibly related to World War I given the suggested context of Russian WWII backpack. A person wearing a military helmet and a jacket is looking through binoculars. They appear to be a soldier, possibly observing something from a hidden position, with a serious and focused expression. The lighting is dramatic, highlighting their face and the binoculars against a dark background. A single military helmet lies abandoned on a sandy beach, partially submerged in the wet sand. In the background, ocean waves gently break on the shore, suggesting a sense of quiet aftermath. The image is in black and white, adding a somber and timeless quality to the scene. A group of soldiers are resting around a military jeep, likely during a period of downtime. Some are seated, one is leaning against a vehicle, and another appears to be communicating via a field phone. The image has a sepia tone, giving it a historical and weathered appearance, consistent with a World War II setting. This dynamic image captures a group of soldiers raising an American flag atop a rocky incline. Their poses convey a sense of victory and struggle, with some holding rifles high. The dramatic lighting and cloudy sky further emphasize the heroic and commemorative nature of the scene. This black and white image depicts two individuals, a man and a woman, working on what appears to be the metal framework of an aircraft. The man is holding a drill, while the woman is reaching into the structure. Their attire suggests a work environment, possibly a factory or workshop, engaged in manufacturing or assembly. This dramatic image depicts a chaotic battle scene with military tanks and airplanes. Flames and explosions are visible in the foreground, suggesting intense combat. The sky is filled with smoke, and two aircraft are visible, one seemingly engaged in aerial maneuvers. This sepia-toned image shows a man in a military-style uniform and cap operating a vintage phonograph or similar device. Two other figures, partially visible, flank him, suggesting a shared activity or gathering. The overall aesthetic evokes a historical setting, possibly from the mid-20th century. This is a close-up shot of a military helmet, likely from the World War II era, featuring a camouflage net covering its surface. The helmet has a drab olive green color, and a chin strap is visible. It is presented against a plain white background, highlighting its details. The sepia-toned image depicts two soldiers in military uniforms and helmets, standing in a somewhat barren landscape with sparse vegetation. Both are holding rifles and appear to be looking in different directions, possibly on guard. The vintage aesthetic suggests a historical period, likely mid-20th century. This image shows a vintage map of Normandy, covered with various handwritten annotations, arrows, and symbols in blue, red, and green. The map is encased in a fabric holder, suggesting it a military or operational map used in the field. It appears to be resting on what looks like military equipment or sandbags. This black and white photograph captures a person writing in a small notebook, possibly taking notes or transcribing a message. In the foreground, a small telegraph key rests on a wooden block, connected by wires to a larger, complex electronic device in the background, suggesting a communication setup. The overall scene, set outdoors among leaves and grass, evokes a sense of historical field communication or espionage. This black and white image depicts several soldiers, likely American given the flag, in a dynamic pose, raising a large American flag. The barren, possibly sandy or hilly terrain with sparse vegetation, suggests a battlefield or a site of military significance. The composition strongly evokes iconic historical moments of flag raising by soldiers, often associated with victory or claiming territory during wartime. This dramatic image features several soldiers, likely American, as one carries a prominent U.S. flag, while ascending a steep, rocky hill. The figures appear to be struggling or pushing forward through difficult terrain, with dust or debris being kicked up around them. The lighting and cloudy sky create a sense of urgency and effort, possibly depicting a scene of combat or symbolic climb during wartime. This image showcases a vintage military aircraft, likely a P-40 Warhawk, with its distinctive olive green fuselage, yellow stripes on the wings, and a bright red nose cone. The plane is seen from below against a cloudy sky, displaying the White Star insignia with a blue circle, indicating it's a U.S. military aircraft. The propeller is in motion, suggesting the plane is in flight or about to take off. This haunting black and white image depicts a narrow path flanked by two imposing barbed wire fences, stretching into the distance. Overhead, a series of dark lamps are strung along the path, casting a stark illumination. In the background, a building, possibly a guard tower, and bare trees are visible through a hazy or foggy atmosphere, contributing to a somber and oppressive mood. This image captures two silhouetted aircraft flying through a cloudy sky, leaving trails of smoke behind them. To the right, a large plume of dark smoke billows, suggesting an explosion or intense aerial activity. The scene evokes the impression of an air combat simulation or a historical reenactment of a dogfight. This black and white close-up shows a soldier's equipment lying on the ground, likely in a prone position, amidst grass and foliage. A helmet rests on what appears to be a backpack or part of the uniform, with a rifle and what looks like a gas mask canister visible beside it. The gear suggests a military context, possibly during a period of conflict or a historical reenactment. This low-angle shot features a large, four-engine bomber aircraft, likely a B-17 Flying Fortress, parked on an airfield. The plane's dark green fuselage, prominent nose gunner's position, and multiple propellers are clearly visible. The overall impression is of a powerful, historic military aircraft. This image shows the silhouettes of three soldiers against a vibrant orange and yellow sunset or sunrise. Two of the soldiers are carrying a third on a stretcher, suggesting a rescue or recovery operation during wartime. The scene conveys a sense of urgency and solemnity as they move across a landscape with sparse vegetation. This image features two vintage fighter planes, likely Supermarine Spitfires, flying in formation against a bright sky. Both aircraft display distinct camouflage patterns and circular national insignia on their wings and fuselage. Their propellers are blurred, indicating motion, and the overall impression is one of graceful aerial maneuvers. This black and white image shows a Douglas C-47 Skytran aircraft, likely adorned with D-Day invasion stripes, on a grassy airfield. Several individuals in military attire, possibly paratroopers, are gathered near the open door of the plane, appearing to be preparing for an operation. The scene evokes a historical military setting, perhaps related to World War II. This front-facing shot captures the powerful presence of a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, a classic World War II bomber. Its four large radial engines and prominent nose are clearly visible, set against a backdrop of a cloudy sky and an airfield runway. The low-angle perspective emphasizes the aircraft's impressive size and historical significance. This black and white image depicts a group of four men, possibly reenactors, dressed in what appears to be World War II-era German military uniforms, walking across a grassy, rugged terrain. They carry what look like period-appropriate rifles and equipment, moving towards some structures in the background, possibly tents or buildings. The overall scene suggests a historical military setting or a reenactment. This black and white photograph features two individuals, likely soldiers, wearing headsets and engaged with what appears to be field communication equipment. They are seated outdoors, amid some sparse trees and what look like military crates. The scene suggests a wartime or field operations setting, possibly during World War II or a similar conflict, given the style of equipment and attire. This intense black and white image depicts a chaotic wartime scene, likely from World War II, with soldiers taking cover in a trench while a tank advances in the background. A large explosion or impact sends debris flying near the trench, emphasizing the combat environment. The composition conveys a sense of immediate danger and action. This melancholic image features a military helmet resting on a rocky, wet shore, possibly a beach or riverbank, with other rocks partially submerged in the water. The subdued color palette and the presence of the helmet evoke a somber atmosphere, hinting at a past event or a lost individual. The scene suggests a quiet, contemplative moment after some form of conflict or struggle. This dramatic black and white image features a Supermarine Spitfire, an iconic World War II fighter plane, soaring above a recognizable London landmark, likely the Houses of Parliament in Big Ben. The composition creates a powerful historical impression, evoking the spirit of the Battle of Britain or a similar wartime era. The scene combines architectural grandeur with aerial might, symbolizing a moment of defense and resilience. This close-up shot shows a heavy-duty excavator attachment, possibly a concrete pulverizer or a similar demolition tool, positioned over a large, rounded object partially buried in rocky, uneven terrain. The metallic components of the equipment appear robust and show signs of wear, suggesting its use in construction or excavation work. The scene captures a moment of intense industrial activity, possibly involving the removal of large obstacles. This aerial black and white image captures the iconic Arc de Triomphe at the center of Place de l'Étoile, with the Champs-Élysées stretching into the distance. The urban layout of Paris is clearly visible, showing the radial pattern of streets emanating from the circle. This striking high-contrast black and white image features a lone, silhouetted figure, likely a soldier, standing on a ridge with a rifle. In the desolate background, several cross-shaped markers, resembling graves, are visible, suggesting a battlefield or cemetery. The stark contrast and minimalist composition create a somber and powerful sense of isolation and remembrance. The image shows a Boeing B-29 Superfortress, or possibly a Boeing B-50A, identifiable by its 4 radial engines and distinctive shape. The aircraft is captured in flight against a light, cloudy sky. The image has a vintage, sepia-toned appearance. The image features a B-17 Flying Fortress, likely Sally B, soaring through a cloudy sky. Its olive drab paint scheme is visible, along with a distinctive yellow star and a marking on the tail. The aircraft appears to be in flight, showcasing its iconic design and powerful engines. The image displays a man in what appears to be a vintage pilot's uniform, complete with a cap and badges, standing with his arms crossed. He is positioned in front of an aircraft, possibly a historical warplane, suggesting a connection to aviation history or a themed event. The sepia tone of the photograph adds to its nostalgic and historical aesthetic. The sepia-toned image depicts a paratrooper on the ground, having seemingly just landed, with a large parachute billowing behind them. In the background, several other parachutes are visible descending, suggesting an ongoing airdrop or training exercise. The scene is set in an open, grassy area with a tree lean in the distance, evoking a historical military operation. The image shows 3 soldiers, seen from behind, running across a vast desert landscape with sand dunes under a clear sky. They are equipped with military gear, including helmets, backpacks, and rifles, suggesting they're on a mission or in training. The composition captures their movement and the challenging environment of the desert. This image captures a group of individuals dressed in World War II-era military uniforms, holding rifles, and standing on what appears to be a snowy or wintry elevated platform. Some are raising their weapons or fists, conveying a sense of triumph or determination. The scene strongly resembles a historical reenactment, possibly depicting soldiers after a battle. This black and white image depicts a soldier in a defensive position, aiming a rifle from a foxhole or trench amidst a desolate, war-torn landscape. In the background, a sign marked Minen, German for mines, with a skull and crossbones indicates a dangerous, possibly mined area. The scene conveys the harsh realities of combat, likely during a historical conflict like World War II. The sepia-toned image depicts 2 soldiers, dressed in what appears to be World War II-era uniforms, carrying a 3rd soldier on a stretcher across a sandy, barren landscape. The scene evokes the challenging and often somber realities of wartime, focusing on the efforts to assist the wounded. A discarded helmet lies in the foreground, adding to the somber atmosphere. The image shows a formation of 4 historic aircraft, likely Supermarine Spitfires and Hawker Hurricanes, flying against a cloudy sky. Their distinctive camouflage paint schemes and wing shapes are visible, suggesting they are vintage warboats, possibly participating in an air show or commemorative flight. The arrangement of the planes indicates a coordinated aerial display. The sepia-toned image captures a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress bomber in flight, seen from below and to the side. Its 4 engines and distinctive tail section are clearly visible, showcasing the aircraft's robust design. The overall aesthetic suggests a historical photograph, highlighting the iconic World War II bomber. The image dramatically portrays a landing craft, laden with silhouetted figures, emerging through a haze of smoke or mist onto a shoreline. The bright sun low in the sky creates strong backlighting, emphasizing the silhouettes and imparting a sense of intensity and perhaps danger. In the foreground, what appears to be a defensive barrier or obstacle is partially visible, further suggesting a wartime landing scene. The sepia-toned image depicts several men in what appears to be a military tent or encampment. Some men are lounging, possibly resting, while others are seated in the background. The overall scene suggests a moment of downtime for soldiers. The image features an aged-looking illustration or drawing of an old-fashioned airplane, possibly a Douglas DC-3 or similar model, with a large propeller prominently displayed. The aircraft has a military green fuselage with lighter-colored undersides, and the overall aesthetic has a vintage or weathered appearance. This is a black and white photograph of a vintage military aircraft, likely a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, parked on an airfield. The large propellers and various gun turrets are visible, giving a strong sense of its historical role as a bomber. The low angle emphasizes the size and power of the aircraft. The image shows a close-up of a well-used olive drab hand grenade, possibly an F-1 model, resting on a weathered wooden surface. The grenade has a segmented pineapple-like casing and shows signs of wear and tear, with paint chipping in various places. A pull ring and lever mechanism are visible at the top. The black and white image features a Mitsubishi A6M0 aircraft in flight, leaving a trail of smoke. The plane, associated with Pearl Harbor, is captured from a bottom-up perspective against a cloudy sky. The sepia-tone photograph shows a group of military personnel, likely a tank crew, posing in front of an M4 Sherman tank. Several men are standing, while two are kneeling in the foreground, all appearing to be in uniform. The tank itself has markings G5 visible on its turret. The black and white image provides a detailed close-up of the track and road wheels of a military tank, possibly an M41 Walker Bulldog or similar model. The heavy-duty track links and numerous large road wheels are clearly visible, conveying the robust engineering of the armored vehicle. The setting appears to be outdoors, with some grass visible beneath the tank's track. This sepia-toned image depicts a dramatic scene on a beach, reminiscent of the Normandy landings. A tank on the right appears to be engaged in combat, with fire and thick black smoke billowing from explosion or burning object in the center. In the foreground, numerous anti-tank obstacles, commonly known as Czech hedgehogs, are scattered across the sandy terrain, and a lone figure is seen running amidst the action. This graphic commemorates VE Day, featuring the silhouettes of three soldiers saluting against a backdrop of a distressed Union Jack flag. Below the imagery, the text VE Day, Victory in Europe, and May 8th are displayed, clearly marking the historical significance of the date.